FBI agents searching the home and office of former Ambassador John Bolton, President Trump's one-time national security advisor. It's all part of what the agency is calling a national security investigation. Welcome to our viewers here in the United States and around the world. I'm Wolf Blitzer. Pamela Brown is off today, and you're in the Situation Room.
This is CNN Breaking News.
And we begin this hour with the breaking news. FBI agents launching a court-authorized search at the home of John Bolton just after sunrise in Bethesda, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. They are currently also searching his downtown office in Washington, D.C. A source tells CNN the searches are part of a national security investigation related to Bolton's book, released back in 2020, and whether John Bolton disclosed classified information outside of his book. Bolton served as the national security advisor in President Trump's first term. He has since become a vocal critic of the president. Just minutes ago, the president delivered his first public reaction to the search. Listen.
I know nothing about it. I just saw it this morning. They did a raid.
Do you expect the DOJ to brief you on this?
Yeah, they'll brief me. Probably today sometime.
We're covering all the angles of this important development. CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez is outside the Bolton home in Bethesda, Maryland. Evan, what can you tell us about this search that's ongoing?
In terms of what predicated the search?
Well, Wolf, we still have FBI agents here at the scene. It's a residential neighborhood here in Bethesda, Maryland. You can still see those FBI vehicles still in front of the house. We saw them reposition just a little while ago, back up one of the vehicles up to the garage area. That perhaps might indicate that they're preparing to start bringing out any materials that they have found inside the home. We've seen about a dozen FBI agents here doing this search, and they've been here now at about the 4-hour mark of this search, so we don't know how much longer this is going to go. But as you pointed out, Wolf, this is a national security investigation. We've been told that by sources. We also are told, Kirsten Holmes has been told, that it does relate to his 2020 book. You'll remember, of course, that the president accused Bolton of mishandling classified information, of revealing classified information in that book. That book, of course, was the subject of an earlier criminal investigation and a lawsuit by the government, which accused Bolton of violating his non-disclosure agreement and of having that classified information in the book. If you remember, Wolf, that the book, though, was cleared by career officials inside the White House before that classified information, before the accusation came from Trump officials that he had indeed disclosed classified information. Now, we don't know exactly, Wolf, what they found. We have seen them bring in boxes, document boxes. We've seen them bring in other items that would be used if they did want to remove things from the home. We haven't seen them do that yet. But again, just a few minutes ago, we saw a number of agents just rearrange those vehicles to prepare perhaps to remove items perhaps from the garage, which is right there. Now, we have obviously the Montgomery County Police here trying to manage some of the traffic. This is a very busy street in Bethesda, and we have seen them here set up, try to manage some of the traffic situation. We expect, Wolf, that this search is probably nearing completion. If we've seen these FBI agents repositioning their vehicles, we're told that this is being handled by the FBI out of Baltimore, Wolf. And again, we're waiting to see what more we can learn about the reason for it. Wolf?
All right, Evan Perez in Bethesda, Maryland, outside the home of John Bolton. Thank you very much. CNN Crime and Justice correspondent Caitlin Polance and CNN senior White House correspondent Kristen Holmes are here with me in the Situation Room. Kristen, you have some new reporting on why these searches are taking place. Tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, so this, again, as Evan said, this stems from that book in 2020 and this idea that Bolton published classified information, particularly the fact that President Trump basically said at that time he was going to put Bolton in jail for publishing that information. They opened an investigation. That was then closed under Biden and reopened when Kash Patel took over in charge of FBI. FBI, but I also am told that it goes beyond just the book, that they are doing an investigation into whether or not Bolton leaked classified information beyond the book to potential clients, to the media. All of this would be in a form of what they would call weaponization, but unclear if that's weaponization against President Trump or weaponization against the government. We're still trying to get details on this investigation. And I will tell you, just moments ago, and I know you said this, but it was interesting how this all played out. We saw the search happening at the House. I was told that FBI agents were essentially staging outside of the office all morning long. They were waiting for a federal magistrate judge to sign off on a warrant, which they did just recently, and that's why now the FBI search has begun inside of Bolton's office as well.
Downtown Washington, as well as at the home in Bethesda, Maryland.
We're staying on top of this breaking news. FBI agents searching both the home and office of ex-Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton. Joining us now is Democratic Congressman from Maryland, Jamie Raskin. He's the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, all of this is going down in your backyard, your district in Maryland. I'm wondering what answers you have about what exactly is going on. Do we know how this warrant was approved? Just any details that you've heard at this point?
No, it's very troubling to my constituents, regardless of what their politics are. It seems to fulfill John Bolton's prediction that Donald Trump's administration would be consumed with revenge and retaliation against his critics. Bolton, of course, wrote a book in which he criticized Donald Trump for catering to the Chinese and trying to get the Chinese involved in our presidential election on his behalf. Over the last week, he's been criticizing Trump's appeasement of Vladimir Putin, saying that Putin just wants to incorporate Ukraine into the greater Russian empire. And so it's very hard not to see this lined up with a lot of other actions undertaken against John Bolton, including revoking his security detail on the first day of the administration, revoking his security clearance, putting him on Kash Patel's enemies list, and so on. So, you know, the magistrate certainly must have passed upon this search warrant. That's true. But of course, they're only at that point getting the government's side of the story. And we know that Donald Trump was livid and denounced the search warrant that was executed at Mar-a-Lago. And that was a case where he had all of these classified documents and had repeatedly refused to return them after multiple appeals by the government. It doesn't sound like anything like that has gone on here.
And that's what we're kind of waiting to find out, is hopefully we learn more throughout the afternoon here. But, you know, President Trump said earlier he wasn't briefed beforehand on this. Take a listen.
I tell the group, I don't want to know about it. Just, you have to do what you have to do. I don't want to know about it. It's not necessary. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer. But I feel that it's better this way.
You got to do what you got to do. What do you make of Trump calling himself the chief law enforcement officer?
Well, it's dubious, and it's obviously a radical departure from our tradition of having independent law enforcement under the Justice Department and not having political coordination between the White House and DOJ. And this smells like that. And of course, we know that this Department of Justice views itself as completely subordinate to the president. I mean, the first thing that they did when they got in was they sacked dozens of January 6 prosecutors simply because they did their jobs. And Donald Trump wants to, you know, send January 6 down some kind of Orwellian memory hole. So anybody who had anything to do with it, they're firing. And we're talking about experienced, gifted federal criminal prosecutors who lost their jobs for no reason other than having worked on that case. And so we've seen various kinds of purges like that taking place at the DOJ, at the FBI. And, you know, John Bolton himself predicted that this administration would be about nothing other than exacting retribution against the president's critics.
I mean, so with that in mind, how concerned are you that the FBI's resources are being diverted from things like fighting terrorism, drug trafficking, federal crime, and what do Democrats do about it?
Well, on the House Judiciary Committee, we intend to be exercising as much oversight as possible to make sure that the actual criminal law enforcement agenda of the FBI is not completely neglected as they decide to mobilize the resources of the federal government to go after their perceived political enemies. But it's a very serious problem. A number of units within the FBI and the Department of Justice were dismantled early on, including ones that were set up to protect us against malign foreign interference.
Away to President Trump. He is speaking about John Bolton now. Listen in.
Talk, he's quiet. And I'd walk into a room with him with a foreign country, and the foreign country would give me everything because they said, oh no, they're going to get blown up because John Bolton's there. He's not a smart guy, but he could be a very unpatriotic guy. I mean, we're going to find out. I know nothing about it. I just saw it this morning. They did a raid.
Do you expect the DOJ to brief you on this?
Yeah, they'll brief me probably today sometime.
And the foreign minister.
I don't want. I tell Pam and I tell the group. I don't want to know, but just you have to do what you have to do. I don't want to know about it. It's not necessary. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer, but I feel that it's better this way.
Foreign Minister Lavrov said no meeting is planned right now between Putin and Zelensky. Absent that meeting, what are the next steps in your view?
Well, we'll see. We're going to see if Putin and Zelensky will be working together. You know, that's like oil and vinegar a little bit. They don't get along too well for obvious reasons, but we'll see. And then we'll see whether or not I would have to be there. I'd rather not. I'd rather have them have a meeting and see how they can do. But in the meantime, they continue to fight and they continue to kill people, which is very stupid. Because they're losing 7,000 people now. I used to tell you 5, now they're losing 7,000 people a day. 7,000 people a week. They're losing, think of that, they're losing 7,000 people on average a week, mostly soldiers. So we want to see if we can stop it. I've stopped 7 wars. I'd like to make this one I thought would have been in the middle of the pack in terms of difficulty, and it's turning out to be the most difficult.
I just don't believe Trump, and I think that it's implied by the CNN. This is my interpretation, that they don't believe it, that Jamie Raskin doesn't believe it, that he seems to slip and almost admit, because he's like on Fox, he's like, well, I didn't do this, but I could have done it. It's something that I can do. Oh, but I didn't do it. No, I think he slipped and almost admitted that he started this. That at the very least, either he directly ordered this particular raid, or Trump went out there and was like, oh, it sure would be great, wink, wink, if you started raiding this guy. I'm not saying you should do it necessarily, but it'd be pretty cool. And I'm just going to look over here and, maybe you do it. And I wake up tomorrow and I find out you did. Like, you know what I mean? Like Trump winking it. Look, with Biden, I believed him when he said he didn't know about Trump being raided. I believe that. Also, Garland was a coward and didn't do nearly enough. So if anything, they should have been more, biased against Trump, quote unquote. But I don't believe that Trump isn't putting his thumb on the scale. He literally said, I will be your retribution. This is, in his mind, the retribution.